All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into an unbelievable story, the Minnesota Vikings. Can you believe it? They're 14-2. Honestly, who would have predicted this? Even diehard fans wouldn't have bet money on this team matching or surpassing the Kansas City Chiefs, who are back-to-back Super Bowl champions. Now, as we head into Week 18, the stakes couldn't be higher. The Vikings are hitting the road to face the Detroit Lions, and this game is for all the marbles, the number one seed in the NFC and the NFC North Crown. This might as well be the game of the year. It's like a preview of the NFC Championship game, but with even more on the line. Here's the thing about the Vikings. We all knew they were good, but 14-2 good? That's next-level greatness. And now, we're finally seeing Sam Darnold enter the MVP conversation, and rightfully so. Even as a Packers fan, I've got to admit this team is incredible. The Vikings just beat Green Bay last Sunday, and that win made it crystal clear they're legit Super Bowl contenders. Let's look at the numbers. The Vikings have faced 5 playoff-bound teams so far: the Packers twice, the Lions, the Rams, and the Texans. And Sam Darnold? He's been unstoppable in those matchups. Over these 5 games, he's completed 66% of his passes, thrown 13 touchdowns, and has just 2 interceptions. That's MVP-level performance right there. Vikings fans, you have every reason to be excited. Before we jump into more details about this insane Week 18 showdown, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe for daily NFL content. Let's try to get this video to 250 likes. It would mean the world to me. And of course, Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you for all your love and support. Buckle up, folks. Week 18 is going to be wild. Let me say this up front. There's no need to get overly aggressive about the stakes of this game. Yes, the Vikings versus Lions matchup is massive. It's a heated NFC North rivalry, loaded with playoff implications. Honestly, it's not even a debate. This is the game of the year. Sure, we've thrown that label around before, but this time, it feels absolutely fitting. Now, does the outcome of this game matter? Yes and no. Of course, a win would be huge for the Vikings, but even if they lose, it doesn't erase how incredible this team and Sam Darnold has been. Speaking of Darnold, let's talk about the numbers. He's been phenomenal this season, ranking 3rd in the NFL in passing yards with 4,153. He's also 5th in passer rating at 106.4. Just look at his performance against my Green Bay Packers last week. 33 completions on 43 attempts, 377 yards, 3 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. A bad read, but hey, it happens. And he was sacked just once the entire game. Against a defense I'd still call rock solid, even if we were missing Jair Alexander. What's fascinating is how long it took for the broader NFL world to fully recognize just how special Darnold is. As Colin Cowherd put it perfectly, they know what they have in Minnesota, a legitimate MVP quarterback. Early in the season, people were calling it a great story. By November, the question shifted to, is he a great player? And now, it's clear, Sam Darnold is an MVP-caliber talent. Since that rough 2-game stretch back in early November, Darnold has been on fire. Over the last 7 games, he's thrown 18 touchdowns, second in the league, only behind Jared Goff, with just 2 interceptions. The Vikings have won all 7 of those games and are now riding a 9-game winning streak. Darnold also leads the league in big plays with 60 completions of 20-plus yards. His red zone stats are even more jaw-dropping, a 70% completion rate, 26 touchdowns, and just 3 picks. The Vikings' red zone efficiency is elite on both sides of the ball. Sure, their secondary might give up big plays here and there, but once they're in the red zone, this team is almost impossible to stop. And let's not forget his second-half performances during this winning streak, over 1,000 passing yards and a passer rating of 114. This guy doesn't just start strong, he finishes even stronger. For those of you who've been following this channel all season, you remember how the Vikings opened with 5 straight wins. Back then, some doubters were just waiting for the wheels to fall off. Well, guess what? They haven't. When the Vikings hit that rough patch, losing 2 games in just 4 days, many people started to doubt them. First, they lost to the Detroit Lions in a wild game. The Lions, as you know, are also 14-2 and currently sitting at the top of the NFC standings with Week 18 right around the corner. Then the Vikings went on the road for a Thursday night football matchup against the Los Angeles Rams. After those 2 losses, it seemed like the NFL world forgot about Minnesota. But here's the thing, they haven't lost a single game since that stretch. This team is absolutely on fire. Let's talk about some of the stars making it happen. Jordan Addison has been phenomenal. Over the past 2 seasons, only 5 wide receivers have scored 20 or more touchdowns, and Addison is now part of that elite group. This season alone, he scored 10 touchdowns, 9 receiving and 1 rushing, putting him tied for 5th in the league, behind players like Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Terry McLaurin. Another name that deserves recognition is Jalen Nailor. He's quietly having a fantastic season as the Vikings' 3rd wide receiver. Just look at his game against the Packers. 5 targets, 5 catches, 81 yards, and a massive touchdown in the second quarter that set the tone for the Vikings early on. On the defensive side, Blake Cashman has been a game changer. The Vikings' defense really takes a hit when either Cashman or Ivan Pace Jr. is out. But with both players healthy, the defense becomes a whole different beast. Against Green Bay, Cashman led the team with 11 tackles and added a sack and a half. Having Ivan Pace Jr. back at linebacker only makes this unit stronger, allowing Brian Flores to utilize Cashman in a variety of roles. This flexibility is a huge reason why Flores brought him to Minnesota in the first place. This Vikings team is resilient, loaded with talent, and firing on all cylinders. Whether you're a fan, feeling nervous or confident heading into Week 18, one thing's for sure, this team is something special. If you're a Lions fan, the excitement is just as real. As a neutral Green Bay Packers fan who grew up watching NFC North football, I have to say, I can't wait for this game. No matter who wins or loses, it's not the end of the world for either team. But let's be honest, securing that number 1 seed in the NFC is a huge deal. This Week 18 matchup is everything you could hope for as a football fan. 2 powerhouse teams, both 14-2, battling it out for the NFC's top spot and the division title. It doesn't get better than this. That's it for tonight, folks. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for daily NFL content. And hey, drop your score predictions for Minnesota versus Detroit in the comments. Let's hear them. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Peace.